What is up, Bulldog Nation? Coming to you today with episode 62, season 2, episode 20, and we have a special guest today. He'll be on right after the break, but Mr. Erwin Porter will be here. He's a local author, basketball historian, a little bit of everything. He works the camera for A Corp Sports, and he does. He's retired, and so he does probably now, I guess, just about whatever he wants.
Well,
so
that's a life to be.
I'm telling you, the life of Riley, as they would say. You are
Micah Harris.
I'm Matt Tanner. Thanks for listening. We're excited to bring you this episode today, and we look forward to getting into that just a little bit later. As we like to say, pay some bills. Shout out to Mercy Phoenix, one of our illustrious partners, Jody Cheney, Tucker Cheney, and their family. They're providing healthcare staffing solutions all across this area and possibly even a little closer. And if you're looking for something that meets those needs, where they can provide some healthcare staffing solutions for you, or if you are looking for to replace an income or to pick up more income or whatever, they are the guys to talk to. If that is your expertise, mercyphoenix.com, or you can find them on their Facebook page, Mercy Phoenix, MERCI, and then Phoenix is PHOENIX. We're very proud to be partnered with them and proud of what they do and what they do for our community, and what they stand for aligns very closely with what we do. I also want to give a shout out to Greengrass guys. By the way, Mike, when we were at the baseball game, they did the baseball field. How good did that look?
Oh my goodness, it looked awesome.
It looked
like a professional field.
Emerald turf. And it's just beautiful.
It was pretty awesome.
Yep. And they're that's just part of what they do. Of course, they do fields, and they do our football field and the soccer field too. It looks terrific, but they also do residential care as well. They can take care of your turf management needs at your house or your business. And David Bizzle are the guys to call. They are the experts in this area, and they will make your yard look so good you have to mow it 2 or 3 times a week.
I was just on the radio coming in, some home improvement radio show or whatever was on there, and they were just talking about how that people have to paint their yards in like certain parts of the country, like California, and
probably for water.
Yeah, and I guess they were talking about sprinkler systems, but we don't have to do that around here. No, we don't, fortunately. But again, we're very proud of our partnership with them and who they are and what they represent, what they believe in, and the things they do for our community. Again, we couldn't be prouder to be involved with them as well. Get our shout out to Luke. We'll have our video and audio things up here in just a little bit on our next part of the podcast. Shout out to Erin. She got so tired of us, Micah, she just left and went with her girlfriend over to Kentucky or to Paducah. So probably a good day to do that.
It's a beautiful day to do that. That's right. Shout out to Justin, my brother, Micah's brother-in-law, our general counsel and ex-IT guru.
We still talk to him every now and then.
Yeah, he still provides us a little bit of help. But we've Tucker Cheney, the aforementioned Tucker Cheney, is kind of. I don't know if he's accepted that role or if it's just something that I've thrust upon.
Bestowed on him?
Yeah, I've just bestowed it upon Tucker, and so maybe reluctantly accepted it. I appreciate all his help with our video editing and things like that as well. And finally, or excuse me, not finally, but Derek James, Brian James for a lot of their background, history, stats, stories, and kind of those things that they provide to us that help us make this podcast what it is. And certainly to Tyler Anderson, Twisted Arrow Woodworking for our sign on the wall. Made some cool swag for us, and we're very appreciative of that. Again, like and follow and share the Doghouse on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Give us a share, give us a shout out, a like, a mention, a review, kind of all those things. Those things help us, and
they do
help us keep going. You can catch this podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and even our embedded player on our website, thedoghouse.buzzsprout.com. And if you need to email us, you can email us at doghouse.sykeston@gmail.com. And if you're interested in partnering with us, give us a shout. We'd love to talk to you. Hit us up for some of our swag. And Mike, I forgot something last week, and I wanted to mention there were so many former Bulldogs in Como that I went right past that, but I want to run down a list real quick and shout out to those guys for showing up. Dontrez Williams, Parker Long, J.T. Jones, Chris Appleton, Julian Beard, Creighton Sirakas, Carson Beard. Coach Chris Sirakas was there as well. Garrett Taylor. Garrett's not a Hollifield guy, but he was a 95 grad, but he was on a Final Four team as well. Trey Sadler, Lontez McClinton Jr., Clark Stewart, Nick Harrison, Zach Harrison, Kevin Jones, Peyton Howard, Tristan Wiggins, Chris Artis, and Gage Rowling. And I apologize if I saw some more and didn't get you added to my list, but I just wanted to give you a shout out. Shout out to those guys for showing up, supporting their young dogs, as we call them, and we're proud to see those guys and the passion and the love that they have for their past and for their team and their town. And some of those guys traveled some pretty good distances to be there. Parker Long and his family, his family came from Alabama to show up. Parker was in Rolla, but he, still several hours to drive, and it was good to see him. So thank those guys. Appreciate y'all for showing up, and hang right with us. We'll be right back with our guest. Hey, thanks for sticking with us after the break. Knowing as we say, the modern, with technology, it's only just a second or so, but it's been just a few minutes for us around here. But we've
already started the conversation.
Yeah, oh yeah, heck yeah. We've had to shut it down and come downstairs so we can save some of the conversation with our guest. And without further ado, Micah, I'm going to introduce our guest. Today, we're joined by a man who's done something every great sports town needs someone to do: preserve the history before it fades. Our guest is Erwin Porter, author of Bootheel Basketball, A Half-Century of Hoop Supremacy, the 2021 book that captures the stories, the programs, the legends, and the pride that has made Bootheel Basketball such a powerful part of Southeast Missouri sports culture. Erwin didn't just write about scores and championships. He helped document a way of life for towns where basketball has always meant something deeper. And now he's back at it again, working on a second book and continuing to tell the stories that deserve to be remembered. We're excited to talk with him today about the first book, the history behind it, and what's next. Erwin Porter,
welcome to the Doghouse.
Welcome to the Doghouse.
Hey, good to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure to have you. Erwin and I have known each other for a while, and I played a small part in your first book, not developing it, but helping roll it out, and very proud to be able to do that. And your son Chris helped you with that book as well, and I think you've mentioned his name in the book or on the book title. I guess, right?
On the title.
Yeah.
He Chris helped a whole bunch on the behind the scenes stuff, computers and all that stuff that I don't know a whole bunch about, been from my era, Right. But he was a real big help, and so I felt obligated to put him on the cover. So
otherwise, he said, "Dad, I'm not helping next time."
I know. Yeah, I said that way I can get his help again if I need it.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, it's real funny how that worked. I talked to my publisher, and I said I want to include Chris maybe as a co-author. He said, "Well, lots of times, you'll do Erwin Porter with Chris Porter." I said, "Perfect."
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And I was glad I did it because he deserved it. He done a lot of work.
Right. Well, and of course, to further the relationship, Chris and my wife, Erin, went to school together. They've known Chippy, we should say. He goes by Chippy. Uh-huh. And everybody knows Chippy.
Chippy, yeah.
And so Erin and Chippy know each other, and that's kind of how that all started as well. But we're very excited to have you on here. And your book. Where can we get your book? It's still available.
Yeah, it's still available. Barnes & Noble has it. They've had it from the very beginning. They do well. They sell one just ever so often. My publisher, Acclaim Press, has it. I keep a supply to. I like to meet people personally.
Yeah.
And be able to kind of chat basketball and sign it for them. So that's an honor for me to do that.
Yeah.
So I like to do that myself. I keep them.
Great.
I can be contacted on Messenger, on Facebook, and
okay. And we've still got some at the bank too.
And the bank still should have some. And while we're talking about the bank, Matt, the First State Community Bank sponsored my first book launch event, which was a big deal because part of my responsibility was to find a sponsor. And Matt was gracious enough and the bank to sponsor it. And we had it at the Syston Fieldhouse. And it went real well. And they still have some books left at the bank that are signed. I signed them all, the ones we had left. So you could go by the First State Community Bank here in Syston and get one. And so they're available. And we still sell them. It's still a lot of people still don't know about it. Which is a good thing for me. That means there's a market for it. So,
sure, that's right. That's what that's part of what we want to do. That you know, we talked about before. This is we're here to promote positive stories. And, and as we say, a rising tide lifts all boats. Right.
That's exactly.
And that's what we want to do to be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Perfect.
Right. And we love that. So when you're we're going to go back a few years. Of course, this came out in 2021. Actually, I was sitting here, I was thinking about this the other day. As a matter of fact, when I was doing some research and finding some of your information and stuff like that, I found the article that the paper did, and I had forgotten it a little bit, but the first launch we had got postponed. You remember?
Sure did, yes.
Was it COVID?
Well, partially COVID, but mainly ice, because it was in
winter weather. It was like an ice snow event. Then it got real cold, like, I don't know, single digit. It wasn't going to thaw out. And we kept debating on what to do, and right at the last minute, we said, we just can't have it. Yes.
It was just too bad, the weather.
The field house wasn't available again until April, so we had to wait 2 months, and we wanted to have it at the field house. We didn't want to change the venue. So we kind of had to kind of put things on pause and then kind of start back again, getting people motivated again. So it kind of caused an issue to a degree.
A little bit.
But we still,
I felt like it was a really good book launch.
We did good, yes.
I felt like it was a real good book launch.
And so, and we'll have another one, and we might talk about that a little bit later in my second book. You know.
Great.
So, I'm real proud of the book.
What kind of got you? You're a New Madrid guy. I mean, and you go to school there?
I did.
Okay. And so you're lifelong that area, and that's where Chippy went and Aaron went and all that stuff. So what kind of got you in the mode to write a book? I mean, have you written? This is your first one?
This is my first one. Well, what happened was, of course, I've kept up with basketball my whole life. I became an avid fan in the late 60s as a young kid. And then so as I went through my life following high school basketball and keeping up with everything, and then I got to retirement, I moved to Cape from New Madrid in the summer of 17. I had some idle time, and I got to thinking, I said, I know quite a bit about high school basketball. We've got great, rich history. I said, we need a book, a document, at least some of this. I know there's a ton of it, and so I started kind of thinking. I was jotting down stuff that I thought would be good as a book, kind of looking at it as a fan. What would I like to see as a fan in a book? And I started jotting down different stuff. And when I did, I said, this stuff is attainable. The stuff that I would like to have in a book, I can find it. It'll just take time and patience. And I said, I've got more time and a decent amount of patience.
I just gonna say, patience doesn't run well with me.
I was gonna say, what was probably the toughest part together for you writing the book?
I know it. So here's a good part of the story. So when I come up, I said, I'm gonna just search now for a publisher somewhere close. So I Googled local publishers, and I seen Acclaim Press. I called them, and then they set up a meeting, and then I knew that this would be a perfect fit. So when I told the Acclaim Press about my ideas, they liked it. So they told me to go to work on it, get all the stuff you can. Then when you get enough content for a book, get back with us, and we'll see. We'll go from there. So that's what I did. That was the fall of about 18.
I was just going to say, did it take you 3 years?
It took about 2.5 years, because I started with the idea in the fall of 18.
Wow.
I don't know, probably September, October. And I finally got a meeting with the publisher, Doug Sykes, for Acclaim Press. And I showed him my ideas, and he agreed that they would be willing to publish the book. And so I went to work on it. So then I worked for about a year And so I'm starting new with this. I've got to get contacts. I've got to contact people. I knew I wanted a book about Bootheel, the Bootheel area. What we call Bootheel basketball. I knew that. I knew that consisted of just a certain amount of schools, not Southeast Missouri.
Right.
Because we have that debate all the time on social media. Yeah.
I was just going. That was one of the things I want to talk about, and we can get to that.
Yes,
what's your geographic region?
That is it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really had it to cover Southeast Missouri at first, and my publisher said that might be a little bit too much for readers' perspective. Because sometimes you get too much in a book and it's not as good as, people lose their attention or whatever. So we scaled it back to 5 conferences, which is the extreme Southeast Missouri, which is the Bootheel area, what we call it.
Okay.
So once that happened, that was a blessing, because once I got into the work, I said, man, if I would have done the whole Southeast Missouri, a lot of the schools outside our area I didn't know a lot about anyway.
Right.
So it wasn't going to be feasible to do a book because I didn't know that much about it. This book was going to be about what I experienced, what I knew, kind of my account of being a lifetime avid fan. So kind of what this book came from.
As author, that's your prerogative.
Yeah. I was going to use prerogative, but
yeah. So that's kind of how it evolved. Once I just determined what schools I was going to include, and so the 5 conferences included 40 schools. Okay. So that's what we focused on.
So geographical area, is that roughly Jackson? Did that include Jackson?
Jackson, being the member of the Seymour Conference.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Okay.
Yeah. So really, I tell people kind of the from Jackson, the Highway 25 corridor. Is that from like on down to Dexter and on down, and everything this way.
Okay.
And then Poplar Bluff was included because they're a member of the Seymour Conference. Okay. A lot of their schedule is down in here.
That's right.
And that's why I skipped, like let's just say, for instance, Twin River, some of those schools were not included because they play actually in the Ozark foothills, even though they do play some of our schools. But so we called it Bootheel Basketball, and we included the 40 schools from the Seymour Conference, the Starter, the Scott, Mississippi, the Bootheel, and the Tri-County.
Yeah. Okay, that's the 5 conferences.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, heck, you could then start trying to. At some point, you got to draw a line in the sand. Do you go to Doniphan? Do you go to Neelyville? Where do you? Greenville. What? Do you pick up?
Carter.
Who?
East Carter.
East Carter. Do you pick up Marquand? Now. Geographically, they're in Southeast Missouri.
Yes,
if you look at a map of Missouri, that would be Southeast.
That's it.
Probably, Van Buren. You could make a case for that, but at some point you got to say, okay, this is where what we call Bootheel basketball, and I agree with you.
You're exactly right. That's kind of how we finally decided to do. And I explained to people a lot respectfully that this is kind of how we did this. Just like you explained, we kind of had to draw a line in the sand. And so we was okay with it. Once I explained that, they understand. We're not trying to slight anybody or say that you're. And like we talked before, the debate on Bootheel or Southeast Missouri. Lots of times on social media, I'll explain that and say, here's geographically, you're in Southeast Missouri, like Bunker, for instance.
Yes, I saw that the other day.
But you're not in the Bootheel, what we call the Bootheel. Another short story about the Bootheel. So you probably heard it, Matt. If you go to the state tournament, they refer to our style of basketball as Bootheel basketball. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of a term that's in the basketball world that's throughout the state. They know. So I thought a perfect title would be Bootheel basketball.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
That's what we're talking about,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how we come about with that.
Because it always seems like South Iron pops in there somewhere.
South Iron. People say South Iron, and it's in Southeast Missouri geographically, but that's not
what we call Bootheel basketball.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use the term Bootheel area.
Yeah.
So it all is kind of the same thing.
I guess technically, like Sykeston,
Charleston's probably
not technically in the Bootheel of Missouri.
And I've talked about that too. I said, well, the Bootheel is actually, you draw a line from the over around Malden where the state is straight, and draw a line over. It's just Charleston, Sykeston, just kind of around it,
Right.
But we call this the Bootheel area.
Yes.
And
correct.
you have like businesses up around the Cape area that are called
Still Bootheel
fencing or something like that.
Right.
So we're
That's right.
we're right in line with the way we're thinking about this.
That's exactly
At
right.
least we think we are.
That's exactly right.
With your book, it makes perfect sense. I mean, like of the teams. I mean, you could have 600-700 schools really if you.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
you'd produce an encyclopedia.
I know it. So anyway, once we scaled it back, I said, really, those are the schools I really know quite a bit about.
Yeah.
So I don't have to. That way, this book is about what I know, what I experienced, the
Yeah.
way I looked at it,
Right.
in my opinion on stuff.
Sure.
And that's all.
Right.
That's all it is. And mainly for just to document our rich history, like you talked before.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got the time. I at least know about what I need to try to find to get in the book. So,
So you talked about like what you know. What is something while doing the book that you learned?
That's it. Yeah, good question.
That's a good question because you learn something every day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So probably this second book, and we'll talk about that, I've learned even more. So the first book was, of course, it's got every All-State candidate listed from those 53 years. Anybody that's ever been named All-State. So I didn't really go deep into the players part. I just recognized them as All-State players.
Yeah.
And then we talked about teams, just teams' general successes in their history.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got their records in there, looking back as far as the beginning, which I like that part. I go to that still yet today to find out who coached them in 1945 or something like that.
Right.
We'll get into a conversation. So getting back to what you was asking, I learned a lot of. I didn't really learn a whole much about the players, as far as some players I didn't really know about. What I'm trying to say, but I did learn that we do definitely have a rich basketball tradition.
for sure.
I knew that, but then once I got in the book and started seeing the state championships and seeing our Final Fours and all that, and I said, man, this book here. I mean, we claim to be the best in the state, and every area does.
Right.
But we're going to do that. We're going to continue to do that because of in ratio of our population.
Yep.
We've got, and the book talks about it, our number of state championships versus a numbers awarded. Like in those 53 years from '68 through 2020, we won like 56 state championships out of like 225 that was awarded.
Wow.
And that's a pretty dang good percentage,
I guess,
for a small area of the state.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
Of course, Scott County Central and Charleston contributed quite a bit, but still, yet it doesn't matter. They're
Well, you
Bootheel
still got
teams,
Notre Dame's and
Oh,
Capes.
yeah. And I could go through each decade and almost tell you who won state championships when they did. Mm-hmm. And I guess I still need to be thankful. We was talking about getting older, in our prior conversation, and memory and all that. So I still have it, so I hope I can continue to have it for a while.
That's right. Well, you're using it.
And I'm using it. So another good thing about doing the book, I'm retired, and it gives me something, a purpose.
Exactly.
And it's something that I love. I love high school basketball. I like recognizing players.
Yep.
And so this book here, I was proud of it. It ended up the way I wanted it to be. I said, this is exactly what I envisioned, So it's been a good thing,
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, how did you choose, like, what year you were going to start and where you? I mean, obviously you're going to end.
Another perfect question, and people ask me that all the time. 1968, I was a young kid, so we started kind of keeping up with high school basketball. Down in New Madrid, of course, we got the Daily Standard Democrat, and I would always look in go get the sports page and look at it. And so I had an interest in high school basketball at a pretty early age. The Matthews Pirates, won a state championship in '68, Class M. So we got to following them pretty hot and heavy, and that's what kind of propelled me to be a lifetime fan. I guess I said, man, high school basketball is great. And so the book, I said, I'm just going to start with the '67, '68 season that I remember first keeping up with. And I said, and we'll get the most recent season, and so 20 was the most recent. When I got towards the end of my book, we was able to include the 2019-20 season. So that made that 53-year.
Yeah, you
segment.
basically got the last full season. Well, yeah.
Well, the 2020 ended in.
Well, that year, I recall Notre Dame made it to They won district, and they made it to
The Final Four.
Yeah, and it got canceled or something,
Yeah.
right? What was
Class three happened, but the 4, 5, and 6 got canceled. It was that
That's
week.
what it
Right.
was. That's what it was.
Because the Notre Dame girls and boys both was going to go to the Final Four, and it got
Yeah.
canceled.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
my niece was on one of the girls' teams. She
That's
was
right.
a sophomore or something.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
You're exactly right. So that's how it ended up being from '68 through 2020. And so this book is really focuses more on just my experiences, what I witnessed and kind of my account. And I thought that was kind of unique because it's just about
Oh, that's perfect.
what I experienced.
Sure. When you did it, the research part, who did you have to get help from for that?
Okay, another
I mean,
great
not
question.
people
Yes.
necessarily, but
Yeah.
not individuals, but like fans, were they involved in that
Yes,
too?
Fans, and I've reached out to like coaches, and I would get with athletic directors, just anybody and everybody. And then I also do that Jamie Hall out of Charleston.
yeah.
And he's been in Nashville for a few years. I knew he had a lot of information.
I recall that from that article, and that you
Jamie
saying
Hall.
that now.
And then he was associated with Al Jackson. Was
Yep.
it Al? Down at Hayti, and I
Yep.
knew he had a bunch of stuff. I knew of that. Well, so Jamie said I could use some of his stuff, research stuff, to kind of make my book out of. And then so he said that both him and Al too, but I was going to get in touch with Al Jackson. And he had just passed away that year. And so, but I ended up, Jamie helped me a whole bunch, gave me access to his and Al Jackson stuff that they compiled for years, mainly Al Jackson. The team histories and all that, their records, stuff like that.
Right.
So then I kind of wrote my book off of that information. Kind of, I could tell what these teams did win in different parts of their career, their history that they had some success. So mainly that helped me a lot. That's what you do when you do a research book. You just find information, you feed off of it, get permission to use it, go with it. So that's kind of how I did it. It took a little while to get started, and once I kind of got rolling, I was okay. You know. And so a year after I compiled myself, I took it back to Acclaim Press. We had a meeting with the staff. They liked it, and the very next day, Mr. Sykes called me and wanted to sign a contract.
Oh, nice.
So that was real exciting. I said, hey,
yeah.
So he come up to Cape, and we signed a contract. He assigned me to an editor, and I worked with them for about another year or so to kind of like fine tuning everything,
Right.
adding what we need, and we finally got it to send to be printed, and then so it really took 2 years, and I'm going to say almost a half, really 2.5 years before it came out. So I just tell people 2.5 years.
Right. Was there, during your research, was there a decade or an era that you thought, man, as special as this been for this 53 or plus years, was there something that really stood out? You're like, man, that time was, everybody was really good, or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Probably all through the 80s.
Okay.
Of course, you got Charleston.
Yeah.
You got Scott County Central.
Yeah.
And then Cape Central won a state championship in 80.
That's right.
North Pembascott maybe in 81. I think these are schools that kind of chipped in one in between all these others. Hayti, I think, in 83. Malden took one in 85.
I was just going to say Malden had one.
And then
around
you
there.
have Charleston won probably 6 or 7 through the 80s. Who else do we have? Scott County Central won, I don't know how many. They were starting to stack them up in the 80s. So
And the girls, they were all
and the
packing
girls
it.
won a bunch of them too in the 80s. But far as the 80s would have to be the standout decade.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, because that,
Yeah. Man.
during the quarterfinal game, and I didn't know this, when Sykeston played this year at the quarterfinals and played Vianney, the two guys on A Corp Sports, we're talking about like number of district titles and things like that. And do you recall, what was that stat we went over?
Were you talking about the top 10
Yeah, top 10 district titles.
titles? Yeah.
Was that, was Scott County? No. Was it Charleston was one?
Charleston was 1.
Charleston was 1, like Vashon was 2 or something like that.
Scott County Central was 3, I think.
3. Sykeston.
Vashon was up there. Vashon
Yeah, Vashon was up there
Yeah,
somewhere.
they
Sykeston was 9 or 10.
10, wasn't it?
I think it was
That
10.
is great. Yeah.
Just-
this is statewide, right?
Yes.
Dang.
Yes, and we got 3 3 or maybe 4 teams in the top 10 of district titles around the state.
That's it, and that shows like consistency, and then
Yes.
So yeah, so that the '80s would be it would stick out, no doubt.
Yeah.
If somebody asked, and then you start getting in the '90s, and of course in the early '90s, Fred Johnson had Syston was awful good. They went to the Final Four. They were good for several years through that period.
correct.
And then
New Madrid was good during that time.
New Madrid, Charleston, back and forth.
Yeah, they was back.
Dexter was fairly good.
The '90s. Dexter in the late early 2000s because you had they had a great team. Dexter did.
Boy, they ran into a buzzsaw every year with New Madrid.
Probably if it wasn't for New Madrid County Central, they would have been state champs too for a couple of times. Everybody knew that. So then you get into that era, and then you start getting into Tyler and Ben in 05 and 06, or 04 and 05, back-to-back state championships.
Yep.
And then you get on up into the late, then Syston starts, making their runs more with, what was it, Matt Michael Porter and some of that bunch.
Yep. The Porters and all of them.
And then Scott County Central got back on track again with Otto Jr. and all them. Then even when he left, they still won 3 more state championships. So they had another run through the...
Bell City got good in there,
Bell City had a couple in the, 02 and 04 or something like that.
Right.
Who knows who else. And then you get on up into the, what do you call it?
Notre Dame won one in 08.
Notre Dame won the 08, Paul Hale. You're right, yeah. And then, so we just, we've had pretty consistency.
Oregon got pretty good there.
Oregon won one in 17, and then, of course, the first one after my first book, 21, Campbell got them one.
Yes, they did.
First time they ever won a district tournament, and they won state.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my.
Yeah, they went.
Now,
who was coaching then?
Steve.
Steve Fowler was, and he went to Malden this year.
He's I didn't know this, but he played at Malden.
He did. I didn't know that till
Yes.
I reached out to him to get my second book.
Yep.
And I said, Steve, I didn't have any idea you played at Malden.
Yep. Good player,
Exactly
from what I understand.
Yeah.
Really good player.
So, yeah, I mean, there's tons of, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah. So is that so since 21, is that the only state title?
Okay, so now Charleston got one in 22.
Yeah.
New Madrid County Central 23 and 4.
24. There we go.
And
okay.
then I think that might be it. We've added 4 more. Am I missing somebody? I don't think so. Campbell in 21, Charleston in 22, New Madrid County in 22. Or wait, they got theirs in 23, 24.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Charleston in 23 and Campbell in 21.
Yeah.
So we're at about 60.
Wow.
Out of about 235 awarded, something like that.
Is that not crazy?
Pretty good.
And there's of course the debate goes on every year between private and public schools. We don't have to get into that.
Yes. I know it.
That's something that comes up
every year.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah.
Somebody will talk about it and want to discuss it.
Yes.
What is it about the style of basketball here that makes it different? What do you think sets us apart? What do you think that is?
I think probably really important is the conditioning. Seems like we understand that we're going to play an up tempo style game. Now a lot of your good teams can play either way, but it's more about like just I say like the tenacious defense. We just real aggressive defensively, and that sets us apart. I think that might be the number one, maybe, Matt. I don't know.
I would think defense.
That's what I think the up and down in the defense
because
is
our
immediately
defense turns into offense. You hear that all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's something these other teams are not used to, and and then that part of it and the physicality. We're physical. We seem to play a physical style because sometimes we get on up into state play, and then
the officiating.
The officials might not allow, and I can see that. Because a lot of times I will see games down here and I say, man, they're banging, and sometimes some of the old timers say, man, that'd been a foul back in our days, And so I can understand maybe getting over into another part of the state where they don't officiate that style, and then where we can get by with it down here because it's kind of even. We're all it's kind of an even playing field. That's how we all play.
Right.
Would you agree, Matt?
I totally agree with you.
We get trouble up there.
We say that a lot.
Not the officials are, and I never have been the kind that I'm real easy on officials.
Yeah.
And
it's not their fault. That's
No,
just
well,
they're just used to officiating.
yeah,
like
we're not trying to say they're cheating us
No,
or something like that.
no,
You know,
no, Lord,
I
no.
want people to know that. You know,
yeah, no, not at all.
So yeah, that's what I see. That's the difference. Probably we all agree. Defense, you know, we've got just tenacious, just physical.
Yep.
And
I'm just thinking about some of the.
Man.
Like, I'm thinking actually in '92 when Charleston won state. I think the score was 42-19, and I believe that Eric Farmer had 21 and Eldon had 19.
And I remember that it been Eldon, and I thought 19 points in the state championship.
Just
game.
clamp down on them.
I thought,
Yeah,
Lord,
that right there says Southeast Missouri basketball.
I know it. I thought,
Agreed.
I mean, but
man,
you got to think about who was on that team, though. I mean, like that was pretty. That was Carlos, Corey. I mean,
There's some squads in there for sure. Some players.
I think
yeah.
maybe Carlos, Corey. There was, I forget. Tim Frazier was another one. I mean, it was
They've had
just
a
lockdown
ton,
defense.
They've had a ton of them. You know,
As a matter of fact, I think that team actually, no, it was 93, 94, I think. The one that played Vashon and held Vashon to like 6 points at halftime or something like that.
Jeez.
I remember they come down to Charleston, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And they just pretty well put the clamps on Vashon. When I saw that too, I thought, how the heck can you do that to a team
Corey
like that?
Corey talks about it. I've seen a couple videos of him talking about that.
I
Yeah,
know,
about
I
that
thought,
game.
Yeah. So defense.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
doubt.
I like it. So your book, I'm looking here at my notes, 8 500 win coaches.
Yeah.
How special is that?
It was real special, and I tell people the good part about that, I was able to, and so what I did, I made up some fun questions, you know, and to ask them, and then so I was able to meet with all of them, which to me was an honor. Here I am, a lifetime basketball fan. A lot of these guys like Coach McFerrin and Ronnie Cookson and Carol Cookson, you know, I've known about them forever. They're legends, and I said, here I am, just a basketball fan, and I'm getting to sit down and talk with these guys and just
Pick their brain.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah.
And so that was an honor to me, you know. I tell people that they enjoyed it, though. I could tell they enjoyed it as much as I did, because they was looking back on their careers, you know, and they was reminiscing. You could tell they just enjoyed it. So I got as much out of it as they did, and then it ended up being good content for my book too.
Right.
So win-win-win, you know.
Of course, I know Coach Hollifield very well, and I know Linus very well. The amazing thing to me that I've noticed about those two, and then I have other friends that are coaches, is the amount of detail and the specificity that they have. They could remember, we played New Madrid on a Tuesday night, in January, and so-and-so for New Madrid had 27 points that night and killed us, or we held him to that night. And knowing specific plays and players that night.
I know it. You're right.
Did you find something similar with all those guys?
I did, and they did. They each talked about specific stuff. Carol Cookson talked a whole bunch about, he coached at Twin Rivers. I think they could have been undefeated. They got beat by Cardinal Ritter, and there was some degree of controversy, something to do with something at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And he really, you could tell that really stung with him.
Yeah.
Over all his wins and losses and his successes. That was just, he knew that was a chance for them to get a state championship.
Coach Hollifield just said that he remembers the losses more than he remembers the wins.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going.
Coach Vic kind of insinuated that too, though.
Yeah, those guys remember those stinging losses more than some of the wins.
That's the way Coach Cookson was, Carol Cookson, and he just, and I just let him talk, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to hear all that he wanted to say, and I could tell that it really stung, you know.
What year was the Fred Johnson controversy at stake? Was that 69?
1969. So, yes, I remember that very well. And, of course, probably he is known for that. That's what his legacy is, you know. I mean, take it or leave it, you know. I mean, he was a great high school player and all that, but that's just how it goes.
And I've heard that there's some video out there that shows that he did not.
He did not.
Yeah.
A good thing. So I've got a lot of those guys that submitted for my book. I wasn't able to get Fred, but I've got a lot of the late 60 and early 70 Oran players.
For your new book?
For my new book, yes. I'm kind of getting ahead of
No,
myself.
that's okay.
And so Rodney LeGrand was on that team, and he he really, on some of his stuff he submitted to me to be included in the book, he hits on that quite a bit. So when this next book comes out, we can see his take on what really happened.
Okay.
He was there. He was a teammate.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that's going to be something exciting for people to read.
Yeah, because the stories.
Yeah.
Do you know the account?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
basically, they said you get
took
10 seconds or something, shoot a free
10
throw,
seconds,
and they said he took longer, so they waved off the free throw. And from what I understand, it was controversial.
Yeah, had an effect on the outcome of the game.
Yes.
Like that. There was still a little bit of time left, but it had a dramatic effect on the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
1969, that was Coach Gene Best, and then of course he left after that, went to Three Rivers for an assistant job.
And he was at the book signing too. How cool was that?
It was, and I was so honored. And so what I heard was he come over there with intentions of maybe staying for a while, and then Three Rivers women had a game, kind of a district or whatever you call it, region.
That region. Mm-hmm.
And so he enjoyed it so much, mainly being able to see people that he had coached, and just people in the basketball world, that he just stuck around. He told whoever, "So I'm just going to stay here." And I thought that makes me feel so honored.
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about, not me,
right,
but about the players and the coaches. And I was glad I could contribute to that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so good that these guys are having a good time. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. When you were doing your research and writing this book, was there teams that brought you back to your childhood that you remember watching specifically? Did some of those memories come back when you were researching this stuff?
Yeah, they did. Of course, Lilburn had some great teams in the early, middle 70s.
Coach Mack played for them, right?
Coach Mack played at Howardville.
Oh, Howardville. Okay.
He got out in 1966.
Okay. Okay.
But the Lilburn teams were Ernest, Frankie Robinson, and people like that.
Was that Bishop? Leonard Bishop?
Leonard, I think, was an assistant coach before he went on out to New Madrid County Central. He was there, and then he went
he was like in Dallas,
Texas.
Was he the one that coached Chris Bosh?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
they come up
Lincoln, Dallas Lincoln.
Yeah,
that was it.
He came up a couple different times and just showed out. Not showed out in a bad way. They just.
I know it.
But
yeah, stuff. So yes, it did. It brought back a lot of memories when we started talking about the teams I was familiar with and watched, because Lilburn was going for a three-peat in '76.
Oh,
and they had a kid named Jimmy Baker that played for him, and he was a cousin of my sister-in-law. So we got to hang around. So I watched a lot of their games in '76, with Jimmy, and then you had Frankie Robinson. And so I saw a lot of their games in '76.
So what was... You said Class M, and I remember that. So they had small, medium, and large. Is that what they... They
did. They had that up until, I think, in 74. 73-4, they went to Class 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And then on up later, they went to...
4 and 5 or whatever.
Then now we're up to 6. So there's different segments of our history that they... but back in those days, it was SM and L, small, medium, large.
Okay.
And in 73-4, it went to 1, 2, 3, 4A.
Okay.
And now we call it Class 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Now, they dropped the A. I don't know, whatever that's about.
And that's another topic, too, a lot on social media. Somebody will say, somebody say, no, it's not Class A anymore.
They'll say Class 5A, and they're like, no, it's just Class 5.
You'll get corrected pretty fast.
Yes, you will. That's right. So was it structured similar? Because I was born in '71, so I didn't start watching high school basketball till probably the early to mid '80s. Yes. So I don't, and even then, of course, I was Sykeston. I lived here, but we didn't have a lot of success during that time. Was it district tournaments and then with the sectionals and quarterfinals kind of thing, or was that very similar?
Yeah, and we called them regional tournaments instead of district. And you win the regional, and you would have your first round.
Like a sectional? Now they call it sectional.
Yeah, I guess they would call it sectional. And then your quarterfinals, and your semis, and your state championships. So the same format.
Okay. Were they mostly played in Columbia, the state finals?
They were. And
okay.
then you had like neutral locations for your other rounds. You had a host school for the regionals, just like you do on districts.
Yeah.
And then you had neutral for your sectional, and then quarterfinal, and then you went to state.
Okay.
So They were all in Columbia. We'd always say we're going to Columbia.
Yep.
You know, that's the term we use.
Wasn't there for a period in the 80s?
The late 80s, they were
Springfield?
at Springfield. Because I remember the first.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably the first high school basketball I ever went to was Charleston and Sodan at the 90 finals, the final
1990?
game. 1990.
Yeah. That's what they did. They finally kind of started bidding it out. I guess Missouri State, they kind of started having interest in having that part of the state. And so now they've been bouncing back and forth the last, how long? 40 years, 30 years.
2018 was the first year it went back over there, and then it went...
it's been back a couple of years.
It's back to... Personally, Columbia means the Final Four.
Me too.
I don't
know
know
if
just
that's
me.
Old school stuff. I tell people, that's kind of, and I do the same. I said, really, Columbia is, to me, that state.
Yeah.
Because it's a major university.
Yes.
It's the big campus.
Right.
Kids enjoy going and playing there.
Yeah. And Springfield's a beautiful town.
Exactly right.
It's a great town. They have a great facility, but to me, Final Four basketball is at
and
Columbia.
even Springfield's an easier trip for us, isn't it?
Actually, it
Then
is.
going up through St. Louis and around 270, and then I-70 is a
70's
headache.
a mess.
So yeah, it's all about.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
like you, man. That's state. That's going to state.
Well, I mean, like even other sports though. I mean, like Cape has hosted the volleyball state tournament
for
yeah.
past several. I don't know.
And of course, the old Fieldhouse done the state tournaments in the early 50s.
No kidding.
Puxico won one of them there.
No kidding.
And that's another whole story that I will touch on a little bit in my next book.
Okay. I didn't realize
that people are gonna
how
like,
stadium.
yeah. An old fan that's been around for years, and he went to games there as a young kid.
Really?
And he's still around today. He's got tons of stuff from
That's
programs
awesome.
and stuff from
That's
back
awesome.
in the days. Yeah, it sure does.
Wow. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they sure did.
Traveled some of those teams.
Yeah,
all
they
over.
had like Class A and B or something like that. They had
yeah.
a couple classes. Then they went to SM&L somewhere in the late 50s, early 60s, somewhere like that.
Do you? We're going to kind of. I've got friends. My brother lives in Tennessee. I've got a good friend of mine that's a head coach in Tennessee. His name is Blaine Mahaffey. Blaine's a head coach at Dyersburg, and they have in Arkansas is different. And I'm just wondering if that ever bleeds over into Missouri. Just get your opinion. This is just fodder for talk. But so, for example, in Tennessee, well, they're split, private and public, but they have. So their conferences are basically like our districts, and they'll have two neighboring. This is the way I understand it, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, and or if y'all know, correct me. So like our well, we don't have sectionals in Class 5, but let's just say our District 1 and District 2. That's who we end up playing in the quarterfinals, the winners. But let's say in Tennessee, their conferences or their districts or whatever they call them, they'll have the two top teams. To start, they'll have the four top teams and these four top teams, and then these four, like the number 4 over here, will flip and play the number 1, and then the 2 will play the 3, and the 3 play. I mean, so the 1 on this side plays the 4, and the 3 plays the 2, and the 2 plays the 3, and then the top.
That gets confusing to
Maybe
me.
the top
the
two
top
or 4,
two or maybe the 4 go on.
Yes.
And so you can lose games in the district or in your state playoff run and still make it. And matter of fact, in Arkansas, actually, as we each week we give a shout out to Brian James and Derek James for a lot of their history as well in this area for sports.
Yeah.
Brian and I were talking about this a few weeks back. A couple years ago, Blytheville, Forest City, and somebody else down there played in the Final Four, and they were all from the same district because of the way they match up and go through the state and play. Actually, they had 3 teams from their conference or whatever in the Final Four. Now, that would be like Sykeston, Cape, and New Madrid being in a Final Four together. To me, that part's odd.
Yeah. Do you like that though? What do you think?
I think you would have to shorten your regular season because if you're going to accommodate a lot of games, because you're talking about Well, we didn't have. So if you have a sectional round, you probably got 3 district games, sectional, quarterfinal, and so you got 6 games in between. Where they may have 10 games.
You're right.
I don't know what it would. If anything Missouri could look at right now is cutting down on travel time for like districts and stuff like that.
That's I mean, we had West Plains in our district. That's not fair to West Plains. It's just not.
That. When I see that, sometimes I think that's
I mean, they were a legit.
No, I can see that if that would be the benefit. Like if there was some less travel in what they're doing, that may be.
They were a legit 3 hours from West Plains to Cape. Yeah, because it's a hard 2:15 in a car.
It sure is.
And in a bus, it's going to be 2.5 to Sykeston, then another 30 to Cape.
But part of that, I mean, West Plains is out there.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere with no Class 5 schools around.
It's good that you mentioned that because Derek McCord,
I know Derek.
He's over there now. And
yeah,
I know him pretty well now.
Dyer County. Yep.
He was telling me about that, and he said he likes it. He likes that. And what it's designed to do is to try to put the better teams into the state championships.
Yes.
A lot of times, like Charleston knocking out Newmat or
get upset.
Or Notre Dame knocking out Sykeston back in the days.
Yep. Well, I mean, look, it happened this year. I mean, Vianney and Webster Groves.
Yeah.
Well, Vianney, Webster Groves.
It happens every year.
And Westminster.
Yeah.
See, it was Webster Groves, Vianney, MICDS, Sykeston, Westminster. We were all within this quarter of the state.
So, there's always pros and cons of all this, and then, but who knows, I mean, we're used to this.
Yeah.
Of course, lots of times people complain, well, we're really, we got beaten our district by so-and-so,
Well, look at those Dexter teams.
Yeah, same thing. They do have a legitimate argument, though, a legitimate case.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but Derek McCord likes that over there. He's been doing that now for 15, 20 years.
Yeah, he's been down there a while.
He likes the system. Mm-hmm. He said he loves it,
It's confusing if you don't know. I'm sure it's easy to follow once you see it, but just because we don't know the specifics about it. But I do know that you could lose probably up to a couple of times.
Well, wasn't it Illinois that used to do? They used to bring the Sweet 16 to like Champaign and play.
Yeah. We've talked. I've wondered if they've considered something like that, moving the quarterfinals, and almost having like a week-long deal.
I know, and I think Kentucky might do that. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Kentucky has some kind of different, because I think they have 2 state playoff systems, don't they?
And they have something different than we do for sure.
They have
remember they had some kind of
mid-season tournament, because maybe they
don't have classes.
So they had a mid-season so not this current season, but last year, we played.
I can't remember the name of the team.
Crap! I can't remember the team we played, but we played at Murray, Kentucky, on a one-day deal. There was a shootout. They had 6 or 7 games that day, or whatever it is.
It was on Martin Luther King Day.
Yep, and we were playing a team there, and we were supposed to play Callaway County, and they couldn't because they played in their mid-season state tournament and ended up winning it.
And they're limited on how many days they can play in a row.
That was their state rules. But they don't have... After that, they've got one class. Kind of like Indiana used to be. So they had one state champion, which... I don't know. I'm not wild about that either. But,
I know what you mean.
It's just interesting.
It is.
And I'm curious if, I guess I said all that to say this. Have you heard any rumors about anything? I haven't heard of anything about anything changing in Missouri.
No,
most people.
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Even the shot clock is starting to sneak in a little bit.
What do you think about that?
I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I could go either way. Maybe I tell people, I kind of, I like it.
When we first saw it last year, I say we, Sykeston, we played Principia over in Springfield.
And they had it.
They had it, and with playing them and playing us, it never came into account.
That's right. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it never was a thing.
And then, of course, the SEMO Conference tournament did it, and then the Christmas tournament, Kate.
I think they had it.
I ain't sure about Bloomfield, but.
I don't think Bluefield did.
I went
to Bloomfield. I don't remember them.
I don't recall.
And you are right. A lot of times it doesn't really affect the game anyway, and then sometimes it will. But I'm not against it, and I'm not just it's kind of I could do either.
I kind of like the idea of it being able to be in like shootouts and tournaments.
Yeah.
And just kind of leaving it at that. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And maybe I don't know, maybe bigger classes can use it in tournament, state tournament. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
It was just interesting to me to hear the other states right around us and hear their playoff run. The downside to it probably would cut back on some games. You're going to have to end the season earlier, so to speak, before you get into playoffs.
You're right. Yeah.
That part I don't care for as much, but either way, let's go. Let's see if I can reel it back in. I'm bad about chasing rabbits, and I say,
I do too.
I enjoy chasing rabbits.
Sometimes you get some good conversation.
Exactly.
Good interest,
What do you think's been some of the biggest changes starting in '68 to 2020? What do you think were some of the biggest changes in how basketball was played, or how it evolved, or things like that?
Yeah, the biggest. Now, probably in my days, in the late '60s, early '70s, the game kind of started picking up a little bit. Back in the old days, we looked at it as methodical, and it was. You would look at some of the old scorers; they did score a lot of points. So probably the biggest change I've seen is probably the physicality, because, of course, they allow you to play like that, which is okay, because it's equal for both teams, that has changed a whole bunch. Because sometimes I'll see a game, I say, golly, how can they bring that ball up the floor like that? Somebody hanging all over and knocking them around. And, so that has changed a whole bunch. And I like it. Nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Of course, the three-point shot when it came back, when it came in, I like that.
Yeah,
I love the three-point shot.
I do too.
And then, of course, they didn't allow dunking up till a certain time. I think that come in, I don't know.
That was the late '60s, I recall.
Somewhere in there, they brought it back in. So probably the physicality, has changed a lot. And then, of course, your athletes are just phenomenal. Back in my days, you would just have very few teams that might have somebody that a standout athlete, And now they're all over the place.
Right.
All over the place.
Interesting.
All over the place.
You think that's just training?
Just training. And then I even say just the nature of the era we're living in, all the way from prenatal care maybe to, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you just, everybody, and just the availability of stuff they've got nowadays. These schools have real nice weightlifting rooms. So all of that has contributed.
Interesting.
It sure has.
Do you think the players now understand the history? Like kids playing right now, do you think they have a real good grasp of the history of this area?
Probably a lot of them don't. And then I had run into some that do that kind of surprised me. I run into a pretty young kid, and they have kept up with it. They know. So probably most don't, and some do.
Yeah. Probably as they'll get older, they'll understand the history that they've been part of.
Yeah.
To do that.
And so, but yes, no doubt we have a great history.
I think a lot of it probably depends on the town too, because I'm thinking of like Charleston. They know that it starts at Lincoln School. A lot of it.
You're exactly right. That's a dang good observation.
I mean,
that
like
you're having, yes.
I mean, like they and those kids are watching from a very young age, and when they get invited into that, that's because they understand how to play and they understand the history.
They do. They've got it. Tyson's got that going right now.
Yeah.
They've had it going for a while. That's a good point there.
Yeah.
And I think those kids do.
And I know there's things like that in Lilburn and
at least maybe their history of their schools anyway.
Right.
Maybe not the history of the area.
Right.
So
what do you think attracts people to the basketball? Why do you? We have opinions. We talk about this a lot, but like Sykeston, we travel, and in general, when teams make it to some start out of district and quarterfinal or sectionals and quarterfinals, and definitely state. We talked to some people that were sitting right in front of us. They had been at the Class 1, 2, and 3 games, and they were like, "Man, yeah, you guys brought just a ton of people." And they said, "I think Hayti brought everybody in their little town."
They did.
What do you think that? Why do you think people do that? Why do you think people follow that so well?
Well, so when these like Hayti, for instance, basketball and the game of basketball, high school basketball, there's no better way or method to bring a community together. We got divisions nowadays.
We talked about that.
We've got social media, and all this old stuff. And that's the one thing that I have seen over all the years that brings everybody together for one common cause, and everything else is just put on hold.
And
they kind of get in the zone. They're supporting their hometown team. So it does that for sure, the game of basketball.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main attraction. They're proud of their community. They're getting recognition.
Yeah.
And they know they're a part of that.
Yeah.
They went to that school. So it's one of those things.
Well, most people that go to the game have some kind of connection to one of the players or coaches.
They do.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes I wonder, I'll go are we okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Sometimes,
it's a mess up on that there.
Like I'll go to a game and I call it people come out of the woodworks, Matt.
Right. Right.
They come out, and you think they don't really know or keeping up with it, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know how winning is. If you win, nobody
That's right.
likes a loser.
What?
You know what I mean?
What did Ron Shoemate say?
I don't know if that's fair or not. But,
no, that's fair. What did Shoemate said something along the lines of, they'll support you when they win, when you win, and they'll support you when you win. kind of thing. So I guess he meant only if you're winning.
There's a book out, and a friend of mine gave that to me last year. He found it at a store in Cape.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it. I haven't finished it. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the title is something win or something like that.
Yeah,
the title is
win or win.
Win or win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly right. So that's just the nature of life in general. Everybody wants to support a winner. You don't want to be a loser. I guess that's a good attitude to have.
Go get Luke.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll keep going.
Okay.
That's what Mike and I have talked about quite a bit, is the fact that we're divided so many ways.
Yeah.
Who did you vote for? Where did you grow up? What do you believe? Religion? What do you believe?
I know it.
And I hate it.
I
hate it. I despise it, as a matter of fact.
I do too.
But for those 2 hours, or maybe even longer during that time, when we're all during that time, it doesn't matter who you voted for, what church you go to, what color you are,
exactly right.
or your background. We are all Bulldogs, or we're all New Madrid County Eagles, or whatever.
And you can tell people enjoy that moment. You just see it. And so that's one thing that really sticks out to me, what high school basketball does, especially when you have some successes, and you go to state.
Yeah.
Everybody always say everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon. Now, you got your fans, and some schools have better fan bases than others.
Yes.
But still, if you win and go to state, you're going to carry quite a few people most of the time.
That's right.
And for a good reason, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to Luke, though, real quick. Luke fixed our technical difficulties.
All right.
Micah tried, but
I hadn't done it enough.
Yeah.
He's your backup like Chippy is mine,
That's right. Well, Luke is I'm
Luke is part of the shout out team.
Yeah, I'm Luke's backup, actually. Unfortunately, he was here. He got here from work that he was able to fix it. When you left, I was hoping that's where you were going initially to get him.
I didn't know if he was upstairs. I looked over there. That's where I went first.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Sorry. Then finally, I just go get Luke.
I heard him up. I heard him down, but I didn't know if he left or what.
Yeah, I like that. You said, go get Luke. Time for Luke.
Time to bring in the expert to get this done, to get it done, get it fixed. When you were, well, let's jump forward a little bit. This next book you're writing, do you have a title? Can you share a title? Do you want to share a title? If not, that's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot. Not yet.
Yeah, I think we do have one.
Okay.
But it's not just for sure.
Okay.
So we might just hold on that.
No, now we're leaving them with a cliffhanger. They'll have to go buy it to get it.
Kind of a teaser,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not that I want to know the story. Is there like a story in there that you're excited about people hearing?
Yeah.
I mean, like one more than the other.
This second book, we want to talk about that for a minute, Matt?
Yes. Yeah, if you can.
So it's going to be on high school players, high school career, and beyond.
Okay.
And it's just relevant players. You know, we've got a bunch of, not relevant, but let's just say notable.
More notable.
More
Sure.
notable.
Yeah.
So we've got tons of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and every day I find a new one.
Yeah.
Even right now, I discover a new one that I didn't really know about.
Yeah.
And, there's
I'm
tons
excited.
of them.
I'm excited about that just because I feel like that one of the things in the Bootheel, I think we do a terrible job at, like, we focus so much on basketball, but like where this has taken these people to in life. I mean,
yeah.
And I want
right.
like our youth need to know that.
That's kind of what this book tries to get out there. And here's another good deal here. I talk about that a lot with some of these guys, especially these coaches that coach, and they grew up in the Bootheel, and they know kind of, and they talk a lot about how sometimes these kids are under the impression of to be successful in life, all I have to do is just, when I get in high school, I'm going to be a Sykeston Bulldog. And it could be anybody, New Barry County, Central Eagle, Charleston Blue. But anyway, I want to be a Sykeston Bulldog, and I want to be a good player. I want to be somebody that people remembers. And for some reason, that's where they stop. They kind of, you know, they think that once I'm a senior and I accomplish all this, like I've accomplished everything in life that I need to do. And they don't realize this is just the beginning of my life.
That's right.
So I don't know if y'all would agree. You probably would. So a lot of these coaches are conscious of that in schools and administrators and teachers, that we want to make sure these kids understand that basketball is important.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of life lessons.
Correct.
And all that, but still yet, you know, everybody doesn't go on and play college, and surely everybody doesn't go on and play pro.
Right.
So more than likely, you're probably going to play pro. And so we have to focus on not just basketball, but being a productive citizen of the school.
I think we do. I'm not saying intentionally, but I think we do a terrible job at telling the stories of the success that's beyond the court.
So get back to this second book. And that's what my main focus was, to find out what these guys did after. And it doesn't have to be a basketball player.
Sure.
I became a successful farmer. I became a teacher. You know.
Right.
So I dug up.
That's great.
Players that, you know, would represent those different segments of life, to let people know, especially if these younger kids read it. Here, you know, he was a great high school basketball player, but he didn't play college. Maybe.
Right.
He didn't go to the NBA.
Right.
But he had a successful life. That mainly he had this successful life from what he learned from basketball.
Yep, I love that.
The responsibility, the discipline, the accountability, the
effort,
win or losing, the efforts, all this good stuff that all these coaches preach all the time.
That's right.
You know?
Work ethic, all of that.
So this book will hopefully kind of it will represent that.
Did you have like with the first book, you had a geographic area and you had a time frame. Did you have something similar to that with this?
Same thing. So the players will come out of these 40 schools.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I just kept the same concept.
Yeah.
That, you know, we'll just kind of extend on this first book.
Yep.
This will kind of be like the second edition or something like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it'll be kind of like volume 1, volume 2.
Okay.
It's kind of my idea.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And you anticipate? Can you?
Yeah. So finally, I say finally because this takes time. You know,
of course.
You always say, "Well, I can do this and that," and you always hit a snag.
Yeah.
So I have this stuff turned into my publisher. It is on a thumb drive the way he wanted. My IT person, Chippy.
I was going to say.
Is it IT? Is that the
That's
right
it.
word? Yeah.
That's what we call them.
He got it all on a thumb drive, and I've got tons of photos.
Yep.
I've got lots of players, and I'm going to make sure people understand. I didn't get all of them by no means. You know, there's still a lot of them out there. You know,
we talked about
so,
that before.
We're all good. So he's got it, and I was told maybe 5 months we can have a book.
Oh, okay.
You know, so hopefully it will be late August.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And so I think we can because this is more complete. The stuff I turned in was more complete than the first one.
Oh.
Because the first book, it was complete, but then it wasn't because I was just on the fly.
You didn't know what you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing, and then they had to kind of tell me, hey, Erwin, I need this or that. So I think we can get it done in 5 months. So let's just say late August, early September.
Okay. So that's what you're.
Yeah.
That's a.
Yeah.
Kickoff school.
Yeah. So now we're getting closer. When I initially started, I thought we could have it out now.
I see.
You know, mid-March.
Well.
And it didn't really that's just the way it is. I'm okay with it because I'm just a year and a half into it. So when it comes out, it will be a year and 8 months.
So you've shortened the process from the first book then.
And the reason I had a lot of the context, I knew more, and I had the base of the book, there at my disposal.
These books are worth their weight in gold, and I go back to when we had Coach Vickery on the Doghouse.
I know.
Coach gave us there was a book called The Dogs, or excuse me, Dogs, and it was our football history from started like 1911 or something crazy up until. Do you remember the 90s or late 90s or something like that? And
I thought it was right around 2000.
And maybe it was 2000, and the guy put that together, and there's been a few people trying to pick it up now and go forward with it. But all that stuff's important to chronicle it, and that's exactly what you're doing. I love that.
Yeah, so I tell people, I said I never thought in the world that I'd ever do a book. But it's just a process, and so I'm proud of the fact that I did it. It makes you feel like, because I've been such a big fan, I thought I'm going to contribute as a fan, and we're going to get some history here. It's going to be here forever, So I'm excited about the second one. I think people are going to really like it because it talks about just what we got done discussing about life after basketball.
I love that.
Some went into professional football. They don't have in the books. Some went into they played a lot of overseas professionals. Some went into baseballs, whatever. Some went into just regular jobs.
Right.
Some became high school coaches. And every day I find somebody else, I'll discover somebody else. So I have a wide range of different stuff people did. And some were, were pretty, they're well known.
Right.
What they did.
Right.
And one of my favorite, I'm not going to say, but we have a lot of good ones. We'll just wait till the book comes out.
Hey, that's what we call
We almost got it.
We did. We almost tripped him up, Micah. I love it.
Oh, Lord.
So we expect that late summer, early fall.
Yeah.
We anticipate. The same ways you can be able to get this, you'll be able to sell it through Acclaim, all those things.
I'm sure Barnes and Noble will pick it up. Acclaim Press, they'll have it.
I think
Amazon has it. I forgot
okay, there we go.
Amazon
okay, there we go.
Yes.
And I think there's a copy or two at our library here in Sikeston.
Because some of the schools I reached out to, and then offered them a signed copy. It seemed like I might have signed it to Sikeston High School, maybe.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
So I've been trying to do that. Some of the schools, I think Charleston has one, New Matter has one, Cape Central, several of the schools do.
It's all important.
That I got to them personally because I wanted to or in high school, whatever.
Yeah. Thank you for.
Something like that.
Exactly.
So I'm all good with this. I guess looking back, I was maybe one of the perfect persons to do this. But here's something else I'm going to add. There's lots of people that know a whole bunch about our history. I've run into guys kind of like my age. They know a whole bunch too. Because we would talk, and then I would sit there after about 20 minutes of conversation and say, dang, you know quite a bit, don't you? Like that.
You're like, dang, I should have been writing this down kind of thing.
They would impress me, and I said, you know quite a bit, don't you? So we have a lot of people that are historians. They know a lot about our past history.
It's interesting what people know, and that some don't write it down. Actually, I found what you find when you talk to people, and that's we talk about this a lot. It's becoming a lost art with social media and phones. But one of my bosses, I learned through in an internal podcast at the bank, and it's really kind of like an interview of executives and stuff. But he has chronicled weather in Farmington since like 1970 something. I mean, literally writes down the temperature, the rain, not forecasting, just what each day was for 50 years or more.
That is creative thinking, isn't it? I mean, you think how,
and does it every day. I mean, today it was this and this and this, and writes it all down. That's just so interesting to me.
Here's one thing I'll add about this second book, and I'm going to throw one name out there for sure, and I was honored to do it, and Ricky Frazier. So what I did was, Ricky, he's losing his sight. He doesn't see real well. I've known him from my first book, so we kind of have a connection there, And so when I did his, instead of him, there was a questionnaire these players filled out, to help me get their story. And he wasn't able to do that, and so some of the guys I would call and just do it over the phone, and then I would enter it into the system. So I called Ricky. We talked for an hour and 40 minutes. Can you imagine that?
Gosh!
But he enjoyed it.
What stories could he tell?
I know it. And he talked a lot about his days at Mizzou. And a lot of the stuff I knew and all that. And so we had a great conversation. So we finally get done. And then, so right there towards the end, I look at my phone. It's like an hour and 41 minutes. And I said, Ricky, I said, we've talked for an hour and 41 minutes. And he said, yeah, I knew we had talked quite a bit. And I said, I wished I would have recorded this. And then Ricky, I'll never forget, he said, I thought you probably were. I said, well, I wished I had now.
Oh, my gosh.
Just the idea.
Yes.
An hour and 40 minutes talking about Ricky Frazier and his career. We talked a lot about Mizzou. We talked about what happened after his Chicago Bulls situation. He talked about all that. He was open and frank.
Wow.
And he was just, I would have loved to have that recorded, but I didn't.
Yep.
I didn't know I was going to talk to him for an hour and 40 minutes.
You ever get to talk to Ronnie Dean?
I reached out to him some, and I never did get connected with him.
Gotcha. Well, I bet he's got some stories.
He's
too.
another one.
Well, I think him and Ronnie and Ricky were classmates. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's I had to add that. On
No,
this
that's
podcast.
great.
I wanted to add at least Ricky Frazier, my experience with him.
That's great.
And it was an honor to me to sit there and talk to a man like that. He's one of the greatest basketball players ever in the state of Missouri. And had a phenomenal college career.
Yes, he did.
My goodness.
He played with Sumvold, Stepanovic,
Sure did.
Norm.
And
that was some.
Played against Elijah Wan.
He sure did.
Yep.
Against all
Ewing,
of them.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
And he talked about a little bit of that too, certain stuff in the game.
Wow.
And I thought, man, Ricky, and that's why we talked so long. Of course, I can talk for a while.
Oh, yeah. Now, what year did he graduate high school?
77. Didn't he?
Okay.
They won state in 75 his sophomore year. And then I think they might have got back to the Final Four one of those 2 years.
I can't remember.
I'd have to look and see it, my stuff. But
That was a little bit before my time. I mean, I was 2.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, so let me ask you this question. Is there another book coming?
Oh, you know what? When I did my first one, somebody real quick said, are you going to do another one? I said, well, not now. I said, I'm going to let this first one play out.
Yeah, sure.
Enjoy
That's
it.
what I mean. Yeah,
I know you do.
Yeah.
And then I thought I wasn't going to do it. As time went, I said, I just might not do it. Well, the notion hit me a couple of times through that 4-year period. And one day, a couple of years ago, I even started writing down stuff, and I just quit, So it's telling me I'm not ready yet. So then about a year ago, well, let's just say late, what is this, 26, late in 24, going into the 25 year, the notion hit, and I knew I was ready. That's just how things work.
Yeah.
I knew. I said, I'm ready. I'm motivated. So here I go, and I never look back. So then, anyway, I tell people, I said, this probably is going to be my last one. I mean, my dad lived to be 99. And
heck, you got time for 5 or 6 more books.
Some time, if I live as long as he did.
Right.
So who knows? I mean, you never say never, but,
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me, what about girls? I said, well, I thought about it, and I said, I don't know enough about the girls as I do the boys. These books are about kind of what I know.
Right.
And I feel I need to know quite a bit to do a book.
Sure.
And they've asked me about football and all that. I said, I know a lot about it, but not like basketball. They're, we got a lot of history.
Exactly.
We all know that in all areas, especially basketball, but yeah.
Track would be an interesting one.
Track, yeah.
And see, I'm like you.
Baseball.
I just going to say baseball.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty rich history of guys here that played baseball at the next level.
So anyway, I'm going to have a lot of players in this book. Going to have a lot of good stories, about life after high school basketball. Just what Micah hit on, that these people need to know that there is life after high school basketball, and life doesn't end your senior year of high school basketball because you was all state for a couple of years. You gotta.
Hopefully, you are leveraging that toward an education.
Another person that's going to be in the book, and he's well known. He ended up writing, and I'm going to use it for my forward.
Okay.
It is great.
Okay.
He's well known, and he.
Well, your foreword for this book was written by Tyler Hansbrough.
He done a great job.
Yes, he did.
But this one here will hit on kind of what we're talking about. And I told him, I said, this is a great story that I'm going to use for my what do you call it? My forward.
Forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it hits on just what you said, Mike. And so the book's going to talk about that.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be kind of inspirational to people, kids.
There's probably people. I mean, I don't know if you got any, but I mean, there's people that definitely lawyers, doctors.
Oh, yeah. All kind. Span the
managers, factories, whatever thing.
Yeah. All the different industries.
So Tyler, he done a great job on that one.
And you guys lived in what was the story?
Chris went to school in Poplar Bluff, Three Rivers. Okay. And then so he ended up renting a basement from a guy right across the street from the Hansboroughs.
Okay.
So at the time, Tyler and Ben were like 7th and 8th grade. They was playing a bunch of basketball. Chris would go over there. They lived right across the street. They'd play some basketball. He got to kind of know the family, and then their dad, Gene, Doc, we call him. He kind of relied, and Doc was a single father. Tyler and Ben lived with him. So Doc kind of relied on Chris to kind of take the boys here and there. He'd run them around and all that.
Almost like a Charles and Charles type thing.
Never knowing they was going to end up being like they were. But Chris told me, he said, Dad, there's some kids across the street. Said Tyler and Ben, said Tyler's in 8th grade. Said, you're going to hear about him in high school. Sure enough, we did. And then they just kept getting better and better. And Chris ended up going to Springfield, and they kept staying in touch. So they were, and then, but he would go over there all the time, and they would invite him.
I didn't know that much of the backstory.
And they would play 2-on-2. So sometimes it would be either Chris and Ben or Doc, and they'd switch ups. So it'd be 2-on-2. Here's a funny story real fast about Chris and Doc about how hard the Hansboroughs competed, and it was just instilled in them at a young age. So they were playing, and Chris said, we were playing. He said a ball went out of bounds. My son Chip said I dove far out across some bushes, knocked a bush down and all that, and they kind of picked me up. And he said, and they went on to plan. He said the next day, either Ben or Tyler, I think he said Tyler said Chip said, Dad said he was really impressed with you. He said after you left, we were talking. He said, Chip's not just a real good basketball player, but said he plays hard as hell though.
That's exactly.
Yeah. So that kind of
Yeah.
Doc was impressed with Chris about how hard he played.
I heard a deal today, and Coach Hollifield talks about this all the time, and I know other coaches do. There's 2 things you can control: your attitude and your effort. Period. You can control that every day, and that's what Chippy was doing. He was controlling his effort. I can do that.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not this shot I shoot goes in, or do I dribble it perfectly, or do I make a perfect pass? I can't control that all the time, but I can control my effort.
So that's kind of the kind of stuff the Hansborough boys learn at a young age.
Yeah,
we want to play hard. You don't have to be just all that great, but play hard.
Play hard.
Chip dove out across a bush and knocked a bush down.
I thought you were going to tell me Ben was mad at him because Doc made Ben and Tyler put in new bushes the next day. Look what you made us do. We're there working in the yard.
But anyway, so he became a friend of theirs, and then all of a sudden they start getting good, and they start getting heavily recruited, and one thing led to another. I went to several NBA games with Chris, kind of just riding Chippy's coattails. Tyler would get us seats up at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We'd sit right down behind their bench. We went to Memphis quite a bit when they played down there, and we would meet them after the game. So I had a good ride with them.
That's awesome.
My publisher knew that Chris knew Tyler, so he asked us, you think you can get Tyler to write a forward? And I hadn't even really thought of it. I said, well, I'll ask Chris to ask Tyler. And sure enough, Tyler said, I'll do it,
That's
so
awesome.
That's how that came about.
I remember the first time I seen Tyler watching Charleston and Poplar Bluff play at Poplar Bluff his freshman year. This tall, lanky kid, I can't even remember. He picked the pocket of one of our guards. I mean, and just goes down and just throws it down. I was like, where'd this kid come from? I mean, you just knew right off the bat. When you
was
see
special.
He sure was, yeah.
I didn't know he was that special, but I knew, I was like, this kid's definitely different than what we're at here right now.
So the Hansborough boys, I've been kind of they both got their own lives going, and then
isn't Tyler doing play-by-play or something with North Carolina?
He's doing something out there. He's like some kind of professor. What do you call it? Kind of like a part-time professor. They call it something.
Adjunct professor.
Yeah, he's something to do with the university, and of course their dad. I've been dealing with him, trying to get some stuff on Tyler and Ben to get them a story in the book.
Where's Ben now?
Ben is in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Playing pickleball?
They're both playing pickleball. Yes.
Oh my
They're
God.
pretty good. They're pretty good.
Well, I'm sure they are.
They're real good. They're kind of on the. They're like level 4 or 5, whatever the top level is already.
I wouldn't have known.
Like
I don't know. The only reason I know they play pickleball is because I listened to Johnny Manziel and Tyler. Like
I did hear
Tyler
that.
Tyler was on Johnny Manziel's podcast.
I did hear that.
It's really good. You probably need to listen to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, is Ben, what's he?
Ben is into real estate.
Oh, okay.
He's married, got a couple of kids.
Interesting.
You know, and then
Cool.
A fun story too, real fast. So
Yeah.
my brother-in-law Johnny Hunter married my sister Nita. He went to school at SEMO in the early '70s, and so he was friends with Randy Hansborough, which is Tyler's uncle.
Okay.
Their dad, Gene's brother. So that connection, I had that connection with Randy and Johnny, and then and with Chip. So there's a connection there with the Hansboroughs, you know.
Well,
And it's real neat that I kind of know those folks. And but yeah, Ben's in Bowling Green, Tyler's in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And so they're and
Wow.
then their uncle Randy's lived over there for a while. You know, he's a doctor too. I think.
Okay.
Randy. I met him a couple of times.
I was thinking Tyler was like doing some kind of radio. for
Maybe
North
that's
Carolina-
what. Yeah.
North
He
Carolina.
does. He does quite a bit of different things with the university. Sometimes you'll see him on TV.
Right.
They'll say, "There's Tyler Hansborough." You know?
Right. Man, what a
He had
what a monster he was when he played. Holy
had
cow.
A heck of a college career. You know?
Yep.
So anyway, there's tons of stuff to talk about. I mean, when we
Yeah,
start
that's
talking
great.
about history and stuff.
That's great.
And so I've had some good connections that have allowed me to
Yep.
do what I'm doing.
That's
And
important.
then as you do something, you build more connections.
That's
I
right.
tell people, I said, I've got phone numbers of, I don't know how many of our past good players, notable players. And so I built a relationship with them, which just makes me feel better because it makes everything go smoother.
Right.
You know, they know that you're.
This is legit. It's not some kind of.
In the first book, my publisher told me so that would give you credibility.
That's right.
To do this second one.
That's right.
So that's made everything easier.
I agree with
just
you.
like y'all said.
I agree with you. That's great.
And I love it. I mean, I just do it whenever. I'm the kind that just do stuff on on my book. I might work on it a little bit. I just set it down and pick up the next day.
Yep.
On
That's
that first
great.
one, I had stuff all over my living room. And the second one, not as much.
Yeah.
But
You kind
love
of figure out what works.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got a couple more. We got
Okay.
some fun questions for you.
Okay.
We call this the lightning round.
lightning round.
Yeah. Who is the best pure scorer that you came across or that you've seen? Just could score.
Man, Frankie Robinson comes into mind from Lilburn.
Okay.
He was a heck of a scorer. Frankie Robinson was tough. A lot of people will tell you that. He got out of high school in '76 at Lilburn. He was tough.
Okay.
I would say him to
Okay.
start with,
Okay.
along with many, many others.
Oh,
People-
sure. Yeah. This is just.
I know it.
This is the
Frankie
answers according to Erwin
Yeah,
Porter.
the Lilburn High School class of '76.
There you go. I love it. Who's got the best team nickname in this area, like basketball or the school team? Which one do you like the best?
I like the Delta C7 Chargers is kind of catchy.
Like that.
Chargers,
I like the reindeer.
Reindeers.
I like Clark.
maybe even better.
I like
Yeah.
just.
I like the Clarkton Reindeer.
Yeah, just catchy.
That
Just
is
catchy.
good. Yeah.
I like that.
You are, yeah.
What was a school in Columbia called the Cupies?
Yeah.
That's a.
I don't even know what a Cupid is. I think I Googled that at one time, but I forget what it is. I
Me
think
both.
I did.
I can't remember
Seemed
what
like
it
some
is.
kind of a dog, maybe. or
Yeah,
something.
I
don't know.
can't remember. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
I like that, Cupies.
What is the toughest gym atmosphere?
Tough.
Or maybe the best. Like, if you were an opposing team, where would you hate to go in and play?
A lot of people say Charleston, and then a lot of people say Syston because it's a big gym. It's got different background and stuff, and then they got a lot of fans,
Kind of intimidating walking in Charleston. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Charleston, a lot of people say
The banners
yeah.
It's loud and it's right on top of
It
you.
used to be worse when the floor was painted with all the stripes and the.
and everything echoes, don't it? It's an echo chamber, just, like that. So yeah, that would come into mind. Probably those two.
I love it.
Down the Boot Hill, you got the old iconic gyms like the Risco's left. I think Clarkton. Some of them old gyms are probably pretty neat to go in.
We actually went in Risco.
We did. It's been a few years ago, and it's a It's an interesting old gym.
It is. That's a good way to say it. Interesting old gym.
Yeah.
Like I think, don't you have to walk under the? If I remember,
You walk like under like the bleachers kind of to
You
get to
kind of
them.
walk in, then they're up above you.
Yeah,
It's got a stage on this end.
Right,
you know, yeah.
right. It's an interesting.
Seats are not real deep. You know,
Right.
6 or 8 rows.
oh, you're front row.
Yeah, I like Bloomfield's gym too.
Bloomfield, yeah, I love it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And they've added that new part up at the top, but they've made it to
Bloomfield is
where
really
it
big,
fits and it doesn't take it away from that gym.
Bloomfield's got a nice gym. I like Jackson, new gym. You know,
Yep.
it's modern, it's different. Of course,
Yep.
everybody loves the field house. They really
Yep.
do because
Yep.
it's big and spacious. Parking's no issue. You
Right.
know, central location.
Right.
And of course, I know a lot of times there's a debate on the SEMO conference. You know, why Syston has it. Well, it was the Syston Invitational. We
Right.
know that. Everybody agreed that we'll just have the. But it's a central location. There's a
Right.
lot of room. A lot of times that thing will fill up for championship night. So I
most
don't
of
have
it.
any. I don't have any issue with it.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
I think it's a great place.
I certainly don't. I think it's. I think it's a great place to have it.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. What do you think one of the most underrated programs in the Boot Hill area that you say don't? When I say underrated, not that they're not even good, ones that maybe not get the press that they should.
Bernie High School.
Okay.
I think because
Agreed.
they've been good for a while, and if you would look, I don't know how many 20-win seasons they've had, and they don't get a lot of notoriety.
Agreed.
I don't think.
Agreed. And we're going back to when I was in high school. Oh my gosh, his name Anthony
Bean.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know it. And
he put a whooping on us.
early 90s. You know,
Yes.
when he went to Three Rivers in Kansas
K-State.
State.
Kansas State, yes. And he is an assistant.
Lindenwood, I think, is he still?
Yeah, I think that's right. He was this year. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
never know,
That's
yeah.
right.
He was at SEMO for a little bit, wasn't he?
I think he seemed like
Maybe.
he might have been.
Briefly,
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
can't
And
remember.
he's
with who.
bounced around. He's been at SIU,
Yes.
and then he was at Northern Iowa.
Yes.
And then he went to Three Rivers for 1 year, and then he went to Lindenwood.
Yep.
He's in maybe his 3rd year there.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player.
Bernie, that's a
yeah,
Brad
Bosch.
Bosch.
Some of those, yeah.
had some great teams in
And all
Bernie.
through the 90s, they were good. Now,
Yes.
if you would look from their last 35 years, from 90 till now, I don't know how many 20-win seasons they've had. And they've changed coaches, and they've been real consistent. You
Yep.
know.
Coach Long's doing a great
Yeah.
job with them right now too.
So they that would be one I think that would stand
that.
out. You know,
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
good programs, they get notoriety.
Yeah.
And you're asked ones that don't.
No, exactly.
Bernie High School.
I love that. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
Bernie
agree
High
with you.
School.
I agree with you. One coach that you would love to just sit down for a couple of hours and talk basketball.
Oh man, that's a tough one. And so when I done my first book, you know, I sat down with 7 of the greatest we've ever had. And so I enjoyed each and every one of them, and they was all the same, but then they were different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was real neat. And I taught. Oh, Matt, that's a tough one. You know, those 7 because
Gotcha.
they've had so much success.
Okay. So those 7.
Or 8.
No.
8.
Well, okay. So
There's
Gene,
8 of them.
Yeah. Gene Bess.
Well, okay, our 8 coaches were.
Okay. Put you on the spot here.
Yeah. Carol Cookson, Ronnie Cookson, Jim Hall from Dexter, and then you had Jim Bidwell.
Yep.
And then you had Paul Hale, Lennis McFerrin, Danny Farmer, and Greg Hollifield.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Named them right off.
Uh-huh.
And then Gene Bess was a
Gene Best.
cherry
yes.
on the top, so
He
to speak.
was, yeah. Because my first book talks about him a little bit, kind of his contributions, and my next book will have some stuff in there about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Kind
Great.
of special.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're pulling it out of him little by
Well,
little.
see,
like
I want to throw out a few teasers.
That's
you know.
right,
So I'm
that's
going to
right.
have some good stuff about Coach Gene Bass.
You could write a book on just Gene
Oh,
Bass.
yeah, for sure.
And this is kind of just hit on his
Yes.
his influence and all that.
That's
on,
right.
On our high school
Was it
basketball.
Puxco that had they got kind of a long history of basketball too? Oop,
That's what he's talking about, Carol Cookson.
Yeah.
The early 50s.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think here. So, yeah, I will talk about that a little bit. I'm going to hit on that some, too. So I'm going to cover a lot. This
Lot
next
of
book
ground.
is going to cover a lot of different people's going to be really interested in. I'm real proud of it.
Great.
I like that you're doing individuals. I like
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think people. And so, like I said, Matt, when I start getting to these players, then I'll find another one. You know, I might get one down at Southland High School. They haven't had a lot of success, But looking back, they had some in the 80s and different, but last 20 years they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Few times Southland couldn't even field a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I would find somebody down there, then I'd find out somebody else, and I would look. And so,
Just kind of took off from there.
It's just,
that's great.
I've got a lot of players in this next book. There's a lot I don't have.
Okay.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you didn't try or whatever reasons. You couldn't get them in
there.
there.
The ones I could locate and the ones I could identify, and I went with it.
Yeah.
You got to stop somewhere. You
know. Last question, next to last question.
Okay.
One game from Boot Hill history you wish you could have seen in person?
Probably the Portersville versus Cardinal Ritter when they pulled that big upset.
Wow.
Would have been a good one to see.
Yes, it would have. I agree. I didn't get to see it.
I listened to it on the radio, but
what was that? 90.
It was one. I guess that was one of the years when they won 4 straight.
Yeah.
Was that when Lauren Woods and Chris Carroll were there?
Yeah, and then
Tahiti White.
That's 3. Yeah,
Tahiti White was there.
It was a major upset to me, probably, and who knows? I don't know about the other parts of the state. That has to be one of the biggest upsets in Missouri State High School state tournament play.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be.
Yeah, have to be.
Porterville didn't have a chance going into that game.
Wow.
It ended up being like 58-53 or something like that. Kind of a low score game to a degree.
Yep.
Yeah, that game, and that would stick out. It'd be neat to see that.
Love that. Yeah. I'd like to go back and watch that sometime.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's on film somewhere.
I would sure there's
early
somewhere.
90s,
yeah. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Uh-huh.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Yeah. I love that. All right, last one. 3 people you would suggest for us to bring on the show.
Okay.
I'm taking some notes.
So listen, there's an older gentleman up at Cape that he's been around watching basketball his whole life, and he's a fellow that has some stuff from the early 1950s Puxico stuff at Downfield House, the state tournament.
Wow.
And his name is Rich Lawrence. I'm sure he doesn't mind me telling you this.
Okay.
Lawrence, I think, Rich Lawrence.
Okay.
He went to the old St. Mary's High School in Cape, which is now Notre Dame. He's lived in Cape his whole life. You see him at SEMO games. He sits down behind the bench. He's an older gentleman. He's got kind of long white hair.
He's at Notre Dame games a lot.
He's at Notre Dame games.
Oh, I know exactly who that guy is.
He would be somebody interesting to talk to.
Yes.
He
was like on every camera shot this year.
Yes, I've seen him everywhere.
That is him. Yeah.
Really? I didn't realize Rich Lawrence.
Because he could tell you, he's got programs, he still collects them today he'll even call me sometime, Porter. He said, are you going to go to this game over here? And I said, yeah or no. And he said, I need a program. I said, well, if I go, I'll get one. If not, I'll get some. So he gathers programs. He's got programs from the early 50s state tournaments that Puxico played in.
Oh, my
He showed a lot of that stuff to me up at Cape. He's got a house full of stuff, just boxes and like tubs.
Love that.
He could tell you about all that. I think that'd be interesting.
I agree with you. He sure would.
I think he would love it,
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so we need 2 more that would be
if you got
just anybody that would be interested.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some Rich Lawrence and other topics too besides basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And if that's the one you got right now, you can give them to me later. I'm putting you on the spot. Okay.
He would be a good one as far as basketball.
I agree with you. I'll get with you afterwards and maybe get his information.
And I have his phone number. And
okay.
And I'll give him a heads up.
Yep. Yep. I'd love to do that. He'd be great. And we can do this, like I told you, we can do it virtually where we can record it.
And he travels. He's told me he doesn't mind telling. I don't guess he'll be 90. He brags about that. He's in good shape, and
he is. He doesn't look 90.
No, he doesn't. I thought he was in.
So I don't mind sharing it with the world. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Or I don't guess he does.
he sure doesn't look 90. I know the guy you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen him a lot this year.
I've seen him everywhere.
He'll show up at the River Bend. He'll show up at the SEMO Conference tournament.
Yes.
Christmas tournament, Bootheel, he's all over the place.
Yes, I've seen him a bunch, like you said, at SEMO games.
He's been doing that for 70 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe 80.
Holy cow.
Or 70 years.
Yeah, for sure.
75-ish. Let's just get technical.
Wow.
75 years.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. What a great run.
I would have not thought he was 90.
No, I would have never said 90.
Yeah, sometime this year coming up, he said, I'll be 90 in whenever, June or something.
Well, he's in great shape.
I said, you're doing pretty good, Rich.
I guess so. Well, listen, we have had a blast having you on here.
I have too.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us and telling us about your book. When it comes out, let us know. I'll be happy to help promote it and get that thing out. And
then one more time, I do want to express my appreciation for First State Community Bank for that first book, because I was new into all this, and I knew that we need a sponsor. Then I think maybe Chippy,
he reached out to Aaron.
I think he said somebody, Matt might want to do it.
Yeah.
And so and I said, I'm kind of blessed because you're the first one we reached out to. Y'all was a great sponsor.
Yeah.
And then even in my publisher, the first one I reached out to.
Oh yeah.
I ended up using him, so I had good luck on that first book.
There you go.
Good topic.
Yeah.
I didn't have to work hard for a sponsor or a publisher.
Right. There you go.
So
there you go. Worked out great.
Yeah. So I enjoy all this, and I love talking about basketball. And
me too.
So I could stay here all day.
So could Micah and me. Absolutely.
Well, I think my family's expecting me to cook at some point.
Oh well, yeah. Except for that, his family's expect him to cook. So
I enjoy it. You got I love your podcast. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
I tune into them quite a bit.
Thank you very much.
And I tell people about them.
Thank you.
So.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I feel honored to be a part of it.
Thank you very much.
Just
thanks for coming down.
What I know about high school basketball,
we love it.
Yeah,
we love it. Well, thanks for being a part of it. We end all of our shows. We say "Go Dogs," and so
I'm Micah Harris.
I'm Matt Tanner. Thanks for listening to the Doghouse.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.